This is the first time I'm putting my chaotic thoughts into words, and it feels oddly therapeutic. Life recently handed me a story so insane that I believe Reddit is the perfect place to share it. A few weeks ago, my marriage of 5 years unraveled before my eyes in the most unexpected, trashy, and surreal way. It all started on an ordinary evening. My wife and I were grocery shopping for a spaghetti dinner. It should have been uneventful, but then I noticed something: her smile. Not the usual one she flashes at me, her husband of 5 years, but a flirty, almost giddy smile aimed at another man. My stomach dropped. She introduced him as a work friend, someone from the evening shifts at the restaurant where she's been working for 3 years. I brushed it off. Work friendships are normal, right? But something about it gnawed at me. A sense of unease I couldn't quite shake. The signs began piling up. She started working late more often, claiming it was overtime. I didn't think much of it at first. Restaurant jobs can be unpredictable. But then she started complaining about payroll mistakes, like being clocked out early even though she supposedly worked longer. Didn't make sense. Why lie about that? Who benefits? That was when my curiosity got the better of me. I decided to casually ask one of her coworkers, a mutual friend, about these overtime shifts. What I learned hit me like a punch to the gut. Rumors had been swirling. My wife and this work friend were more than just colleagues. Allegedly, they'd been sneaking around, even sharing stolen kisses in the restaurant's cooler after hours. My world tilted. I didn't want to believe it, but I couldn't ignore the mounting evidence. I confronted her directly, trying to gauge her reaction. Her response was textbook guilt, stammering, avoiding eye contact, deflecting. It was all there. Still, I needed definitive proof. So one night, I decided to drive by the restaurant after her shift. And there they were. As I watched from my car, she and her work friend walked out together, laughing and getting into his car. My heart sank. Then they kissed. Passionate, unmistakable kiss. Snap. Rage, betrayal, and heartbreak swirled inside me. I stormed out of my car, yanked his door open, and pulled him out. A parking lot brawl erupted as my wife watched in stunned silence. When it was over, I turned to her, my voice cold and steady. "Drive home, pack your things, and get out of my house." I was done. It wasn't over, though. Turns out this guy, her lover, had a girlfriend. Not just any girlfriend, either. She was the mother of his newborn child. And they were all living under his parents' roof. My wife wasn't just unfaithful. She was the other woman. Disgusted, I reached out to his girlfriend through Facebook and laid everything bare. She called me immediately. Heartbroken but grateful for the truth. The affair explained a lot about his recent behavior. She told me she planned to leave him, taking their baby and moving in with her parents until she could figure out her next steps. As for my wife, she moved out last week. I'm filing for divorce. She's been begging for a second chance, saying she's sorry that she's ruined everything. But her apologies feel hollow. She's not sorry for what she did. She's sorry she got caught. If I hadn't noticed the flirty grocery store encounter, the timesheet discrepancies, or driven to the restaurant that night, would she ever have come clean? Doubt it. Now I'm done being the nice guy. I refuse to sit at home, pining for someone who clearly didn't value me. I'm taking my life back. I've already started focusing on myself. Hitting the gym, picking up new hobbies, and rediscovering what makes me happy. Eventually, when I'm ready, I'll find someone who truly values and respects me. Mind, body, and soul. To my soon-to-be ex-wife, if you're somehow reading this, I hope you understand what you've lost. You took me for granted, and now you'll have to live with the consequences. As for me, I'm moving forward. This chapter is closed. To all the men out there, let me leave you with this. If something feels off in your relationship, trust your gut. Don't ignore the red flags. You deserve better than lies, betrayal, and half-hearted excuses. Stand up for yourself because no one else will. Let me take you on a roller coaster of betrayal, revenge, and unexpected connections. For 2 years, I thought my relationship with my girlfriend, Ashley, was solid. Sure, we had our ups and downs, but I genuinely believed we were happy together. That illusion shattered when my friend Mark dropped a bombshell on me. Mark had spotted Ashley getting a little too cozy with some guy at a party. At first I brushed it off, I trusted Ashley. But a gnawing doubt began to creep in, a whisper in the back of my mind that I couldn't ignore. I decided to dig deeper. I found out the guy's name. Jake, an acquaintance of ours. Confronting him was awkward, but to my surprise, he didn't deny it. Jake, looking genuinely remorseful, admitted they'd kissed. He swore he didn't know she was in a relationship and even showed me their texts. What I saw floored me. Ashley had been the one initiating the flirting. My heart sank. I was furious, confused, and unsure of how to handle the betrayal. That's when Ashley's best friend, Sarah, reached out. She'd heard about what happened and offered her support. At first I was skeptical, but Sarah had always been a good friend to both Ashley and me, so I decided to open up. As Sarah and I talked, I realized she was just as upset as I was. She felt betrayed by Ashley too. We bonded over our shared anger and hurt, finding comfort in each other's company. The more time we spent together, the more I realized how much we had in common. Sarah was everything Ashley wasn't: kind, compassionate, and genuinely caring about my feelings. Weeks passed, and Sarah and I grew closer. One night, we went out for drinks, letting the night drown out the pain of our shared heartbreak. We had one too many, and before we knew it, one thing led to another. We spent the night together. The next morning, I woke up with a pounding headache and a whirlwind of emotions. Guilt tangled with a strange sense of satisfaction. Ashley had betrayed me, and now, in a way, I'd evened the score. To make matters even more complicated, being with Sarah didn't feel wrong. It felt right. Still, I knew I couldn't keep the secret. I needed to confront Ashley. When I went to her place, I laid everything bare. I told her what I'd found out about her and Jake, how betrayed I felt, and how hurt I was. At first, she denied everything, but when I showed her the texts, she broke down. Tears streaming down her face, she apologized, calling it a stupid mistake. She begged me to forgive her. That's when I dropped the final bombshell. I told her about Sarah. The look on her face was something I'll never forget, a mixture of shock, disbelief, and utter heartbreak. She sobbed, asking how I could do something so cruel and why I would hurt her like that. I explained that I hadn't planned any of it. I wasn't out for revenge, but the more I uncovered her betrayal, the angrier and more hurt I became. With Sarah, it wasn't just about revenge. It was a connection I hadn't expected but couldn't deny. Ashley was inconsolable. She accused me of being just as bad as her, if not worse. But deep down, I knew the relationship was over. The trust had been shattered, and no apology could rebuild what was lost. In the days that followed, things got even messier. Ashley and Sarah's friendship imploded in a fiery confrontation. Part of me felt responsible for their falling out, but another part of me knew this was Ashley's doing. As for Sarah and me, we didn't let the chaos stop us. We continued seeing each other, cautiously at first. The guilt lingered, but so did the undeniable chemistry. We faced backlash from friends and family, many of whom saw our relationship as a betrayal of Ashley. But the more time we spent together, the more certain I became that this wasn't just a rebound or a fling. Sarah and I had something real. She was my silver lining in a storm I never saw coming. Looking back, the situation was messy, complicated, and far from ideal. But life has a way of surprising you, of taking the darkest moments and turning them into something unexpectedly beautiful. So here we are. Sarah and I are still together, navigating the complexities of a relationship born from chaos. Do I regret what happened? Not entirely. Sometimes the most unlikely beginnings lead to the most profound connections. What do you think? Can a relationship that starts this way stand the test of time? Or is it destined to crumble under the weight of its origin story?